Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz and I will be guiding you on this journey today. These are the readings for the human design profile, and also there will be readings for the human design types. So stick around, for that. We're going to be using the Spellcaster's tarot, which I love because this is probably one of the first 5 tarot decks I ever got. And I haven't used this deck probably actually in years. So before every reading, I do ask the deck if it wants to do all 16 now of the readings, and I'll just shuffle until it kicks out basically like a yes or no card. And the one deck I wanted to use, because I also haven't used it in a few years, gave me the 3 of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles. And I was like, okay, you are not in the mood for work. So, so then like this one was actually sitting right next to it. And I was like, ooh, what about EU? And it was like an immediate yes. So I love that. Also, the other deck that I wanted to use, part of the reason why I went to that one was because this wasn't recent. It was like in the last couple months. I actually went back and watched the first videos that I put out. And I think that was in December of 2021. And I don't know, I just kind of wanted to see. I wanted to see how it was or whatever. I don't know. But I'm not going to lie. I also was really expecting to be kind of embarrassed or like cringe, and I really only listened to my sun and rising ones, but I was not embarrassed or like cringy or anything, honestly, at all. Like, I was actually really fucking proud of myself, which is so funny because I was not expecting that reaction, which, that kind of sucks. Like that, I really do need to like give myself a break. But I left a comment though on every video. And of course I just, copied and pasted, but I just left a comment that said, hey Liz, this is Liz from 2025. And I just want to tell you like how fucking proud I am of you because you started this, like I was so nervous and I thought for sure you were going to be able to hear it in my voice. I thought for sure I was going to be stumbling over my words. I thought for sure that, that I was just going to like be continuously losing my words because I do that a lot, and just fumbling all over the place, but I wasn't at all, or not maybe to the extent that I thought. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, so I left, a comment and I was just like, man, like I am so fucking proud of you. And you're the one that felt the fear and did it anyway. And granted, I don't know exactly what I said in that comment. I could look it up, but something along these lines, just telling myself I'm proud of myself, because that past version of me is why I'm even still here. And also why I'm going to be teaching an intro to tarot class at this wonderful, experience boutique next month, which I never thought I would do. So it's just, it was really cool. And I'm so glad that I did that too. Also, the other thing that was kind of funny is that in the intro of those videos, I was like, the acronym for Heretic Owl is HO. So I was like, if you're a hoe, subscribe to the channel. Or if you want to be a hoe, subscribe to the channel. Which I just think is absolutely hilarious. Like, hoe is one of my favorite endearing words. Like, I do not use it like at derogatory. I know people do. I don't, but yeah, so if you want to be a hoe, subscribe to the channel. Be a hoe with the rest of us. But also, like, you know, Heretic Owl Tarot is hot. So, you know, being a hoe makes you hot, you know, or whatever. I can't say, like, you know, do hot girl shit because I don't know if Megan Thee Stallion trademarked that. But anyway, just funny. Just funny. And also too, like I said, like I just remember being so fucking nervous. I literally, I had a phone that barely had any memory on it. I had a computer that barely had any. I could literally only do one video at a time because I didn't have memory or storage on like any device, you know, to actually do multiple videos at a time. And I was using like a folding table, and I had I should have grabbed it actually. I had my little owl stone or whatever, which I do still have. But anyway, yeah, very cool. So that's all I'll say. This is the second time I'm actually recording this intro because the first time I was like blabbering on for literally like 15 minutes. So that's it. Oh, that's not it. We're going to do these readings a little bit different this time. And this is also like the way that I've been reading for myself lately. I've been pulling like 2 sets of cards. The first set is the lie, which is the obstacle, or of course, I mean, literally the lie, right? That we're either telling ourselves that usually is like what we're telling ourselves. You know, it could be the limiting belief, old stuff, you know, whatever is also like holding you back or keeping you small. And then the other side is going to be the truth. And of course, right, I mean, I feel like that is pretty self-explanatory. It's a little bit similar-ish to the 333 readings that I do, which is like the door and the key. Similar-ish. But I've already done the 1-3 reading actually, and oh my gosh, that was beautiful. So no doubt all of these readings will turn out that way. And also I believe that the truth is so imperative right now, and especially because we are being bombarded with the depth and the expanse of lies that literally like our whole lives, you know, like the economy, the government, the, you know, the, you know, billionaire class, or, you know, like whatever you want to, whatever, you know, we are literally being bombarded with like how much of that shit is lies, how much we've been fed, you know, like lie wise. And, I think it is imperative, like I said, right now to really hone in on your truth, accept what is true for you as well. And also, again, like even recognize the lies that we're telling ourselves, the limiting beliefs that we're telling ourselves, the identities that we've been, you know, carrying around or operating from, the conditioning, really. Because, you know, I mean, with human design, like a big part of it is the deconditioning process. And I really do think that by more people honoring their own truth, it really is, you know, going to shift the world. So that's kind of also like where that's coming from. So I will officially leave it there, and we'll get into the readings. Great. So deep breath. I don't know why that was necessary, but deep breath. This is the reading for the 6-2 human design profile, the role model hermit. If you don't know what your profile is, there's a link in the description for you to get your human design body graph. Your profile will be listed on there. And I mentioned in the intro, but just in case you didn't watch it, which I don't blame you, we are doing what is the lie and what is the truth. I feel like they're both like pretty self-explanatory, but you know, the lie is basically like, you know, what's the story that we're telling ourselves, or the limiting belief, or the block, the resistance, you know. And then of course, I mean, I do feel like the truth is is actually self-explanatory. So we have the Three of Swords that came out for the lie, and we have the Empress. What about the truth? We have the Two of Wands. And interesting, these are both threes as well. I just saw that. I don't take the cards that flip in the deck because we want commitment over here. So if they don't come all the way out, I just don't take them seriously. What are the odds? What are the odds? We have 2 3s and 2 2s. The odds are crazy. That is rare. To fix my seat. That is definitely rare. Over here, the first thing I heard was a feminine wound, or divine feminine wound, or even some sort of belief around feminine energy. It doesn't necessarily have to be gender related. The divine feminine is an energy. We all have feminine and masculine energy that we work with, right? And it's interesting that over here on the sleeve of this figure on the Two of Wands is the yin and yang, or the yin and yang, symbol, which is about balance. So, there is something here where there appears to be a wound with feminine aspects, principles, energy. Again, when we're talking feminine energy, as far as the divine feminine energy goes, it's intuition, nurturing, receiving, fertility, creation, expansion. Of course that can be biologically, but when in tarot, fertility is about, again, the ability to create something out of your own image. The ability to even reproduce results, reproduce abundance. It is going with the flow. It truly is the flow. Even cycles, speaking of cycles, or speaking of flow, right? There are also cycles that come along with the feminine, hormonal. Truly, within, the feminine body, hormones are changing, literally every single day, or every couple days. There are phases that we go through. The Three of Swords has to do with heartbreak, betrayal, rejection, disappointment, frustration, anger, but it's swords. So it's our mindset. It's the way that we are perceiving those things in our head. It's also ego, because for me, I just want to say this out loud that sitting here talking, like before I actually did, or before I actually started the reading, like I was sitting here, at my desk. I have my laptop right here. Like this is my workspace too. Like I have like my little keyboard and whatever. I was sitting here doing some work on some graphics, and I was like, you know what, I my intention was to sit here and start your guys's reading. But then I just kind of started like dilly-daddling, like with these graphics. And then I was like, I'm kind of done doing that. So let me start this reading. And it was like as soon as I got my phone like set up and I sat down and I shuffled the cards a little bit just to kind of wake everybody up. Like I just felt all of the energy like leave my body. And then I was just like, I don't know if I want to do this. And anytime, like whenever that happens, especially like when I've already, I'm getting set up to do a reading, I'm in the process of like whatever happens during that or during the reading, I feel is part of the message. So I do wonder, like, if there is just something that is like taking the wind out of your sails, something you have a concern about, if it does have something to do with a belief that you have, an experience that you've had in the past too, because I know I didn't like quite finish my thought. It's like it literally feels like I don't feel like talking at all. And I mean, I need to talk in order to like do these readings. But again, I mean, I wonder if you are experiencing something similar, to that, just low energy or just not feeling oomph, like it just kind of feels like a lack of energy, which is interesting because I was thinking like fire or wands, and the one fire card that we have out here, they're just like sitting there, which we'll get to. But anyway, okay, so I didn't quite finish my thought with the Three of Swords. I also see swords as being the suit of ego, because that's generally where we tend to hear our ego, is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, emotions, feelings. And it becomes the reasons why we believe the things that we do, why we do the things that we do, why we don't do the things that we do. It's our reaction, it's our perception of reality, because we're constantly taking things in, right? Like we're constantly consuming our reality. It literally goes through the filter of our ego, and then it kicks out a story. And if something happened, because none of us ever escape unscathed, if something happened where it caused a big reaction, again, like rejection, betrayal, disappointment, something didn't go the way that you wanted it to go, it created a belief around yourself or around what you believe to be possible, even what you believe you can create. This is a card of Taurus. It's Taurus and Libra. It's ruled by Venus. I believe Venus is in Pisces right now. Even, of course, like I said, I think, I shouldn't even say like I said, because I literally never remember what I said. But if there is a wound around your expression of femininity or what you believe femininity to be, it could be your mother. It could be, authority figures that are women. It can be your interactions with women. It's like the whole I get along better with men than women thing. That's a mother wound. That's a feminine wound, you know? Um, and again, this is on the side that's the lie, right? And it's like whatever story or like whatever experience that story came from. I hate to say that it's a lie because it's not, right? I mean, like the whole thing of like doing inner child work is literally like going back to the event that zapped our inner child and really like reliving what that story is, right? Like it's, oh, my dog. For instance, I did EMDR therapy last summer, right? And one of the memories that I went back into was when I was 7. And that is where I discovered confusion. And I've just been operating from this confusion for 35 years. And I'm 7 with 4 years of choppy vocabulary, right? Because we don't really start gaining vocabulary or memory until we're like 3-ish, right? When we start talking. And again, it's like choppy, right? And so I'm 7 with just 7 years of experience on the planet. And I'm attaching meaning to the interactions that I'm having. I'm attaching meaning to that confusion. And it's not really good meaning. It's confusion, right? And like I said, I just have been living with that confusion for the next 35 years. And in the EMDR session, me being 42 now, I can interact with, and of course this is happening right like in my imagination or whatever. I mean, it's in my body too, right? But I can interact with my 7-year-old self and be like, hey, I totally understand why you attached that meaning to these experiences and how it became the belief and the action and the patterns and the behaviors that, again, that I lived, for the next however many years. But me being the 42-year-old self now and having 35 years of experience, I can go back and say, hey, that was actually confusion. Because I didn't know when I was 7. Like, I didn't know that it was confusion. I know that now. But feeling it when I was 7, I was scared and I was uncertain and I just kind of kept like making small little shifts and tweaks and it just reacting constantly, but again, like I didn't know it was confusion until my 42-year-old self goes back into the memory, back into the feeling, and I'm like, oh, that's what that is. So again, right, like I can say everything that you're feeling around what is happening is absolutely valid. However, like the belief, the stories, the ego that was created around it is based on like faulty information. And I have more information now, right? Like I'm an adult now. So literally, like in the thing, I'm like, give it to me. Like, give your confusion to me. Like, you don't have to, my inner child, right? Like, you don't have to hold on to the confusion anymore. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to be uncertain. Like, give it to me. I will take care of it. And also that like gives a window or like a door to for truth, which is over here. But just as an example, right? I mean, like things happen in our lives. Our brains are fucking really quick to attach meaning to it because it has to, right? Like it just has to. There's this term that my friend told me the other couple weeks ago about humans being meaning making machines. Because like everything, whatever happens in our lives, right? Like we're like constantly attaching a meaning to it. And if that meaning is attached on prior experiences, prior disappointments, heartbreaks, disappointments, right? Then it's not true. It's just using the data that it has. And this does have something to do around the feminine, around even like what you have the capacity to create, how you show up, how you are perceived, how you are viewed, being vulnerable, how you care for yourself, how you care for others. And over here in the truth, we have the Two of Wands, we have the Two of Pentacles. Threes are self-love. So again, right? I mean, it's an issue of self-love. 6 is help from others. So it's kind of like, did other people affect your ability to connect with yourself, to love yourself, right? 2s are knowing what you are to do. It's direction, planning. 4s are about discipline, foundation, security. So it's interesting how like that, they and 6 plus 4 is 10. So even more like, confirmation that there is, I was going to say before, like, it's like the energy, since this is coming up, the energy is available for you to face it, whatever it is. And also like we can see that over here, the Two of Wands is planning for the future. This almost kind of feels a little more avoidant in a way, though. Like Wands, again, are fire. It's the actions that we take, the motivation behind the actions that we take, creativity, passion. I also see Wands as being information by way of experience, because that's what we get by trying things. We figure out what works. We figure out what doesn't work. What do we like? What don't we like? And truly the only way to figure that out is by doing. And, there's these 2 wands here. This person is sitting on this stump. There's a bird in their hand. And one hand is tied to one wand. One leg is tied to the other wand. So it almost feels like there's 2 things that are coming through here. Feeling helpless. Like, I can't do anything because I'm tied to these wands here, which is a story that you're telling yourself, because literally you could get yourself out of this, right? Like this is like basically Eight of Swords energy, which is like a self-inflicted mind prison, but it's like a choice. This is a choice. And it's like a choice to be distracted. It's like a choice to not take action. It could even be like waiting for somebody to come save you. You could be waiting for more information. The other thing that was coming through too is like almost in a way, like forcing yourself to sit with your story. And it's like one of those things of like you're not even going to know really what to do next until you work through that, until you figure out what it is that's even holding you back. The book says discontent, outward success, but inner unhappiness, not liking one's circumstances or current fate, a spiritual emptiness, the mind is elsewhere, dissatisfaction, division of thought or purpose, a divided mind, appearing to have it all, yet remaining unfulfilled, a small success that leaves one feeling empty and disillusioned, having the power to make changes but choosing instead to brood over what is lacking, mastery over a situation, a successful business endeavor or journey, setting goals, careful planning, contemplating new enterprises, staying the course while knowing that one's head or heart is elsewhere. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that pretty much covered like everything. It really is like, I kind of hate, I'm not going to lie. Like I'm like I really do kind of hate when people are like, it's a choice, because honestly, I mean, sometimes, a lot of the times it does not feel like a choice, whatever you're thinking, however you're perceiving. And it doesn't necessarily feel like a choice because that old script or the old programming is still running. So like, again, if there's no awareness around that, and even to like how it disrupts your natural flow, how it disrupts your ability to receive. And maybe I said that, I don't, if I'm repeating myself, it's important, I guess. Because it's, like the possibilities are here, right? The desire is there, the motivation is at least somewhere, right? But it's, again, it's like thinking that you can't take any action, or even just, again, right? Like just why? Like why bother? Because this is how it's going to turn out, or I've already done it. This is how it went, or, but also like with wands, again, like it's information. So we're never starting from scratch. We're starting from information. So every single time that it doesn't work, and let's also not forget to remember that you have the sixth line, which operates in 3 tiers, right? Like the first 30 years of your life, which could be these threes, the first 30 years of your life, or up until your Saturn return, you're operating as a 3-2. That 6th line expresses as a 3. So it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of making and breaking bonds. It's a lot of life happening. It's a lot of experience and lessons. And then after your Saturn return, you go up on the roof where, you kind of maybe separate yourself a little bit. You might, lean into your hermit mode, but that's where you start unpacking the first 28 to 30 years. What did I learn? What programming did I pick up? What are the beliefs that I have? What is true and like what is not, right? I mean, this is a process that is not just going to happen in a week, but it's important, because then by like your second Saturn return, you come off the roof and you're able to use that experience, to use literally like your life experience and circumstances to become that role model. The Two of Pentacles says struggling to maintain balance and stability, juggling too many things at once, an upheaval or shift in current conditions, weighing of options or a comparison of value, loss of foundation and a lack of footing, living the double life, writing out the chaos, conflicting values or desires, a hypocritical lifestyle, double standard, deception or other forms of trickery, rolling with the punches, being at peace with the tides of fate and taking it as it comes. It's kind of interesting that like both of these cards in this book like had like more of an emphasis on the heavier expressions of of these energies, which I do think is fitting. I mean, like you are, it's clear that you are working through some heavy shit. And usually like in the Three of Wands is where we see our ships coming in. So it's interesting that there is, the ships in the background of the Two of Pentacles. And that's even like what I was kind of saying with the Two of Wands, like if you're waiting for something or someone to come save you, like if you're waiting for permission, like if you're waiting for something to come in, that is a choice. Which would be fine, like if you are also actively deconditioning. Like if you are, going into yourself and having an awareness of, your own stuff. I think it's interesting that in this card, this dog is like bringing this brown paper bag. Like that to me feels like a meal. Like a bag lunch or whatever that, maybe they don't do that really so much anymore. But it feels like don't forget like the basics, It could be, of course, like don't forget to take care of yourself. It is Pentacles. Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our time and our energy. Like where are we investing our time? Where are we spending our energy? It's our physical presence. Where are we showing up in our lives? It's our health and our body. Anything tangible, anything that we place worth and value on. And if there is like this feeling of overwhelm, there's too much to juggle, there's too much coming through, and the result is distracting or like numbing yourself or just not taking any action, then make it smaller. Like instead of just like having to do the whole thing at one time, whatever it is, like I don't know what it is, like whatever it is, right? Like make it smaller. and give yourself, a ton of grace and compassion. We have the King of Wands and the Fool card at the bottom of the deck. The Nine of Cups behind that. See, in this King of Wands, there's two bluebirds up here. Those could be spirit guides. It could be, your intuition, strategy and authority. Truly your strategy and authority is designed to help you enter into the quote unquote correct experiences for you. Your profile is how you interact with those experiences, the people, places, things, the King of Wands is, of course, the king is the highest expression of the suit. This is somebody who uses that third line experience. This is a role model. This is somebody who uses those experiences not as like weapons against themselves, right? Or reasons why not to, or again, right? Like just limiting beliefs or fears and anxieties and doubts. Like all of that is valid. Which again, I'm not going to go back to like my EMDR story, but it's like if you take the time, even this can even be like a rebalancing, right? Because I am going to go back to my EMDR thing. Like the shift in the energy after that session, I had a huge fucking breakdown about like in that session too, like curled over in the chair, like bawling my eyes out. Because also like around that time I got into riding horses. My family got a dog and I just like swooped that dog up like it was mine. Like I turned to animals then because they didn't confuse me. I didn't feel judged. I didn't feel graded. I didn't feel like they were competing against me. I wasn't confused there. I could relax there. So it was just like being made aware of what that is, that's literally part of the programming that I've been living. And then again, like I said, like being able to be adult me and be like, I know what that is. I know why we have that programming, but that doesn't work for us anymore. Like we don't have to do that anymore, right? Like that's like the shift here. Whether you go to therapy or not, or you figure out, like some other way to literally like dig into your own shit. Like it's like the only way out is in type of thing, which is what this Fool card is feeling like. It's a leap of faith. It's a brand new beginning. It's a, even a completely different direction, a completely different way of being. And the Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. It's having your desires met. It's feeling purposeful. Whereas like over here, it's like keeping yourself small, keeping your intuition, your flow, your ability to generate or, produce or whatever, right? Create, small based on old stories. Over here, it's like the truth is you have to figure out like what is holding you back, what is your motivation, and balancing those things out. And even, this dog, because I literally keep looking at the dog, like there could even be some sort of information that comes to you, that's given to you, even, maybe in a conversation that you're having, it's just like something just like clicks. It's like the right thing, and like a bubble bursts. And even with this Fool card, with this little thing of baggage, like that's what I was saying with the 6th line, like depending on where you're at, right? Like when you're on the roof, like you're going through that baggage. What am I keeping? What am I letting go of? What am I taking with me? Like what's important here? Like if you really concentrated it down, right? What is important? And then, like I said, the 9 of Cups is wish fulfillment. And it's personal too. Like 9s are individual completion. It's personal. It's your idea of your desires being met, your feeling of fulfillment and purpose, your own like wishes coming true, right? It's definitely possible. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.